Hi, I'm Hope from Under the Median. Today we are going to talk about home energy costs. Why? Because it is the middle of summer and it feels hot enough to, well, fry an egg on the sidewalk. It's that time of the year that you just grimace when you see that utility bill sitting in your mailbox because you really don't want to open it. For years, my husband and I have raised 4 boys debt-free on an income which was consistently under the national U.S. median income. And one of the ways that we were able to do that, it was by looking at every single area of our budget and figuring out how we could trim those costs. And our utility bill was no exception. Now, maybe you're a little bit like I was about 30 years ago and you're thinking there is no way that this bill can be lowered. It is what it is. It's okay. I thought that too. But when I started doing research, I was actually really pleasantly surprised to find out that there are a lot of not only easy, but also inexpensive ways that you can have an impact on the amount of energy that your family uses and lower your utility bills even in the middle of summer. So on today's program, we are going to look at 9 of those tips and strategies, and I'm going to go in depth and tell you exactly what you need to do to get a handle on those summertime utility bills. This tip works really well in the spring and also in late summer and early fall. When those nighttime temperatures, not only do they drop, but the humidity also drops too. So when that happens, go ahead, shut that central air off and open the windows. Pull that cool night air into your home while you sleep. Then the next morning, early in the morning, like 6:30, 7 o'clock, then go ahead and air out the house. This is kind of an old-fashioned notion that your grandmother used, but it really works. Open the windows, turn some fans on, move as much air through the house as you can so you're pulling the residual hot air out of the house, and at the same time you're circulating it so that air that's still cool on the exterior is then coming into the house. You can even test to see where you're at by looking at your thermostat in the hallway, and you can kind of see that you are indeed cooling the house down. Now, once the house gets to where you're really comfortable and you've pulled as much of the cool air in as you can, go ahead, shut the windows. After the windows are shut, then pull the drapes closed, especially in rooms where you are not going to be sitting all day. Now, this part of the tip works really well if you have light colored drapes. Light colored drapes will indeed keep rooms cooler, but if you have dark colored drapes or you have like metal blinds, especially if they are black blinds, then it's actually going to heat your room up even more to have them closed than it is to have them open. I know it seems like it's a little arbitrary, but it's a great idea to go ahead and try it and see how it affects your comfort level. And you may very well find that keeping these closed during the day will keep the house interior cooler than if you had them open. It probably won't surprise you that we are starting our series of tips right here in the hallway next to the thermostat. This, of course, is the brain of everything that you will spend on utility costs. And there's an important reason that we're starting here, because when you use your thermostat smart, then you can save money on your energy bill. I want you to start by turning this temperature up just a little bit. For every degree that you turn your central air up, you save between 1 and 3% on your final bill that month. Now, when my husband and I have actually really kind of watched the thermostat and ridden it as close as we could to comfortable and yet not uncomfortable, when we raise that thermostat, we really have saved 10% on our bill the following month. So this tip actually does work. Here's the next tip that has to do with the thermostat. We call this the 8-hour rule. I would never have considered doing this on my own. I actually got this tip in a seasonal newsletter that came with our utility bill. Yes, indeed. Every time your utility company sends you information, don't automatically put it in that round file where I know you want to put it. No, instead you want to take it out, unfold it, and read it, because your utility company, believe it or not, wants to help you save money on utilities. I know that seems like that's not the case, but it actually is the case. They send out all kinds of really helpful tips and information on how you can save on energy, and this was one of them. In their seasonal flyer, they said, use the 8-hour rule. Turn your air conditioner up several degrees or even off for several hours during the summer. Turn it off in the morning and then turn it back on in mid-afternoon. And I thought, there is no way that that is going to work. Well, believe it or not, it did. You see, scientifically, what happens is that when you turn that air conditioner up, let's say 6, 7, or even 8 degrees, basically you're turning it off. But if you reach that threshold, you know the air conditioner really is going to come back on again. But it won't get to that threshold. Trust me. We would turn it off at 7 o'clock in the morning, or turn it up 8 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning, and not turn it back down until several hours later at 3 p.m. What happens scientifically is when you turn that thermostat up, yes, your house will begin to get warmer. But what happens is there's kind of a stasis that's reached. It will get warmer, warmer, warmer as it gets closer to the outside temperature. And once it reaches a certain point, it will start to get warmer more slowly. So the whole idea in the 8-hour rule is the longer that you can keep your temperature up at that higher level, the more money that you save. Now, you don't have to remember, 45 minutes before I get home, how am I even going to affect that thermostat? You need a smart thermostat. This is our smart thermostat. It's a Nest thermostat. Not only can you tell this thermostat what you want it to do on an hourly or even a minute-by-minute basis, but you can go ahead and you can tell it, this is when I'm going to get home. 45 minutes before that time, I want you to drop that temperature back down. You will walk back in your house and never know that your thermostat was raised and your air conditioning was working at probably half of what it normally would have been, or even not working much at all while you were at work. And when you get in, it will be perfectly comfortable. I'm a real fan of this next tip. That's right, using fans. Now we have to understand the science between fans. Fans don't make it any cooler in the room. All they do is make us more comfortable by evaporating the moisture off of our skin. So the temperature doesn't change, but your comfort does. But here's something you may not have considered. Use your fans in conjunction with your central air conditioning. That's right. Use portable fans, or especially ceiling fans if you have them, in the rooms that you're sitting in. What that means is that statistically, you can raise your thermostat on your central air by up to 4 degrees with no noticeable change in comfort level. And remember what I told you a little earlier, for every degree that you raise that thermostat, you save between 1 and 3% on next month's utility bill. Using that fan will cost you just 1 cent per hour. Well, whenever you use your central air unit, you'll pay up to 36 cents per hour. So that is a huge difference. Let's talk now about how, when you cook and how you cook, makes a difference on your utility bill. We don't really spend a lot of time thinking about when we cook, or if we should cook at a different time of day than we are. But you have to remember, by 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the middle of summer, the heat and humidity are coming up outdoors, which means it's all that harder for your central air unit to keep up with the demands that are being placed on it. The solution is to use small kitchen appliances as often as possible. Here are some examples. you can use your microwave. This is handy especially for reheating. Now, why and what would you be reheating except leftovers? Well, if you are a fan of bulk cooking, like I am, then you can bulk cook earlier in the week, ultimately not only saving you money on your utility bill, but plummeting your grocery bills. Here's another idea. You can also use this. You can use your slow cooker in order to cook things from scratch. If you have an exterior patio or a front or back porch that has electricity run out to it, all you need to do is put everything into the crock pot, take it outdoors and plug it in. Then you're keeping all the heat outside and outdoors instead of adding any of it to the interior of your house. And I do this a lot during the summer. The third idea is to use a pressure cooker. Yes, a pressure cooker does use a fair amount of electricity, but it uses it for a much shorter period of time, thereby lowering your overall energy usage and lowering your utility bills. Here's another appliance in your kitchen that may be raising your summer utility bills and you don't even realize it. That's right, your refrigerator. Not only do newer, more energy efficient models use less energy, but your old unit can have clogged ducts in the back. That's right, the condenser as well as the coils in the back are responsible for keeping your refrigerator working efficiently and keeping things cool. So twice a year, you need to roll that refrigerator out from the wall and locate the coils on the back of the refrigerator. They are generally located toward the bottom. All you need to do is just take your vacuum attachment, the hose attachment, and literally vacuum it off. Vacuum off all the debris and the dust, whatever's collected on there. Make sure it's clean and then roll it back against the wall again and you're done for 6 months. It will allow your refrigerator to run more efficiently and to cycle far less often, saving you money on your utilities. It is very important to keep the exterior of your central air conditioning unit clean. This is basically a grill, and it is designed to keep things like dirt, dust, pollen, seeds, grass, rocks, anything like that from making contact with the blades of your air conditioning unit. But because it's basically a fine mesh, eventually all that stuff collects and cakes on there. So all you need to do is clean it out a couple of times a year. Keep an eye on it. If it begins to look like it's clogged, what you need to do is turn your central air off first. Then you direct a stream of water through here. You may need to remove this top grill piece. Direct a stream of water gently through a hose, and then it will clean out all that debris. And then simply replace this, turn your central air unit back on, and it will allow your central air unit to work more effectively, more efficiently, and turn on and off cycling less often. In addition to this tip, you need to make sure that you are replacing the air conditioning filter that is on the interior of your home. Now, finding this may be a little bit tricky. For the most part, those filters are located right next to your furnace unit, and they're pretty easy to find. But also, in some homes, they're actually located in the ductwork, and they could even be located and housed in the attic of your home. So if you can't find it and figure out where your air conditioning filter is, just ask an HVAC specialist to give you a hand, come to the home, and also tell you where that's located and how often you should be replacing that filter. The final tip is another old-fashioned one. You saw your grandmother do this all of the time while you were growing up. Line drying clothing. I have line dried clothing for years. In fact, I cloth diapered all 4 of my boys, and I line dried cloth diapers. Line drying is not nearly as time consuming or as difficult as you might think that it is, because you have to understand that on average it costs 50 cents to dry a load of laundry. Now, I do somewhere between 8 and 10 loads of laundry a week. So what that means in translation is by line drying approximately 9 months out of the year, I am saving $180 every year simply by hanging my clothes outside and allowing Mother Nature to do the work for me. I hope that you've enjoyed all 9 of those strategies and tips on how to save money on your utility bills even in the middle of summer. If you'd like even more ideas, well then I have a great free resource for you. I have a home energy savings checklist, and it can be yours just for the asking. There's a link in the description of this video. This one-page document will take you through each room of your house and give you several tips and strategies for every single room in your home. So please go ahead and look for it in the description of this video. If you'd like the whole enchilada, everything that I have learned in 30 years about how to save on home energy costs, then you might want to take a look at my home energy savings guide. It's an ebook that I sell in our shop, and there's a link to that also available in the description of this video. I hope that you've enjoyed Under the Median today. If you have, please give this a thumbs up, give it a like, share it with friends, and then make sure that you are a subscriber to Under the Median so that every Monday when we drop a new video with great new content helping you to live with a spirit of joy and abundance on a shoestring budget, you won't miss anything. I am a real fan of this next tip. Yes, that was a pun. Sorry.
You're kind of like me.
Should I start over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What it does is it works on the process of evaporation. So it evaporates the natural oils and the sweat and the oh shoot.
Natural oils?
It evaporates the
Liquid. Yeah.
Don't put that in there.
Arsenic.
Don't put that in there.
Spilled coffee.
So, knowing me as you may do, you could also reheat using your crock-pot. I was like, what the heck is this? If you'd like the whole kit and caboodle and you would like all of my home energy saving tips, oh my gosh, there's just a lot of cars going by. Car.
Okay. Good.